Get the refresh. All right, so we've got, let's see. Wayne, Fran, Robin, you, Kristen, Trisha, Rudy. 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 6, and that might be Liz on the phone, so that is fantastic. Thank you, everybody. And hopefully Jim will tune in, because I did see him wandering around. So we'll call the meeting to order, 3:02. We've got 2 sets of minutes to approve. From one set from April, one from May. I emailed those around last week, I think. So did everybody have a chance to take a look at those? And are there any questions or comments? Hey, Fran. All right, if there are no questions or comments, do I have?
I move that we accept both sets of minutes as submitted.
Thank you, Wayne. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank
That's
you.
good.
So just for those of you who missed our last meeting, which was not June, it was May, we canceled June. It was our update from Julia on the Explore metrics, and there weren't too many people there. But at the bottom of the minutes is a recording of the meeting, and I tried to include the link to just the PowerPoint. So if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, you can just check. But just as usual, performance is fantastic, and it's doing the job that we all hoped for when we brought them on board. So check that out if you didn't have a chance. All right, I think today should be a pretty quick meeting, but we did miss last month, so I just want to fill you in on a few things that I've been working on or that have come up. New homeowner mailings. I haven't gotten the mailings out for the last couple months, but the home sales for April were 6, May was 7, and June was 4. So April, May were busier than we've been seeing, so that's good. I guess, you know, at least for the realtors, the home prices are still pretty staggering. I think I shared last time when we saw, I really think I saw one for May at Quarry Ridge go for 465. So, you know, that's I think a 2-bedroom condo. So anyway, those housing prices are still holding high. Our next newsletter is set to go out September 1st. The deadline for articles is August 9th. We had some good feedback to the last newsletter, so that's great. And as always, people are emailing me to figure out how to get into the newsletter. So organizations continue to recognize the value of that. I'm trying to remember the last, actually, I was up at the transfer station yesterday, looking at some signage stuff for the sustainability committee, and had a good chat with Liz and Liddy up there, and they said, hey, you know that newsletter, can we put in tips for the transfer station? I was like, of course you can. And so hopefully yeah, it's a great idea. And you know, they want to kind of put in one thing each quarter that they notice people are getting wrong a lot. We've got a lot of new residents, and whether it's a recycling thing or a trash thing. So yeah, so the newsletter continues to be really well received, and continues to be seen as a great outlet for communication. So that's great. Arts Council has been meeting and is busy, and is a really energetic crew of people. It's great. Arts Council was present at the block party. They had an artist, Alibaba, doing the local Afghan refugee that was sponsored by the Washington Refugee Resettlement Project, and he's a world-renowned calligrapher, and he was doing calligraphy with children and people who walked up to the tent. So that was wonderful. And in the last meeting, there was discussion about how to participate in the Harvest Fest to make sure that there's something arts related and interactive. also, they're talking about, putting together a gallery tour for September with some pop-up artists. Being allowed to have their art in some of the depot offices, such as Sotheby's, which has all the windows right there on Titus, and Barbara Bouillet, who's got the lighting store, which used to be Park Drag right there on the main street, has also agreed to participate. So it's really exciting. Part of what they've been talking about is trying to bring some activity to the depot in the afternoons when things kind of start to calm down. So they're really thinking about economic development as well as promotion of the arts and support for the arts and culture. So some exciting stuff there with the Arts Council. Affordable housing, the Housing Commission has also been incredibly busy. We were at the Board of Finance last night working on a special proposal, but let's see, in June, the Housing Commission co-hosted a home dedication ceremony with Habitat for Humanity, welcoming 2 new households that just bought their new Habitat homes, and the WBA put together welcome bags for them, and they were fantastic, full of nice little gifts and gift certificates, and they really appreciated that. It was a nice show of support and welcome to our communities, and actually both families reached out in ways, wanting to get involved in the community, so that was really exciting. They have 2 more foundations that are started and a couple, they're planning to build out the rest. I think they'll have 5 more total to go. So really exciting partnership with Habitat. And then the Housing Trust just recently received a gift of 30 acres off of Wickham. So they're going to start exploring that for affordable housing. It's going to be a long road of feasibility and engineering and grant writing, etc. And we don't know exactly what's possible over there yet, but it's important. Affordable housing is one of the things that all of our businesses have mentioned as a challenge, being able to find workers and people who work here but can't live here wanting to. So I see the role as the EDC in this is helping get the word out. Whenever we have a new Habitat home coming online, I send a flyer to some of our larger employers like the Supply and Region 12 to make sure that their employees know that there are options coming online. So it's it's good that things are happening. It's slow and hard, but it's happening. I think since I can't remember if it was since our last meeting or not, but the multifamily regulations passed in zoning too, which is also very exciting. Hopefully opening up the opportunity for some development of either condos or just, duplexes or something a little more middle income housing. So, we'll see where that leads. That's a bunch. Any questions on any of that so far? No? Okay. Sustainability also continues to meet. They've been working a lot on the recycling with the transfer station, but one of the issues that they're really looking forward to working on is working with all of the landscaping companies in town to talk to them and encourage them to move to electric leaf blowers and trimmers and all of that stuff. Not only because they are better for the environment, but because they're quieter. A lot of people have really talked about the noise that our landscaping companies make, especially when they're blowing leaves for hours and hours and hours a day, right? And the electric ones are considerably quieter. So we feel that instead of trying to get a noise ordinance or being punitive, we want to be actually proactive and rewarding by we're going to explore a property tax credit or abatement for battery powered equipment, if you purchase new equipment. We're also gonna try to help promote them as the greener, quieter companies, because I think I think people in Washington would appreciate that. So I've told them that I'll go to the assessor and try to find all of the landscaping companies that are local. And we're gonna try to have a conversation with them. So that's one of the initiatives of the Sustainability Committee.
It's good.
Yeah, I think it is good.
That's
It is
very good.
amazing. When you look at the statistics, we did an article, I think 3 issues ago about leaf blowers. It was back in the fall. And a 2-cycle engine on a leaf blower puts out more,
Decibels.
well, not just the decibels are insane,
Yeah.
but the pollution.
Oh, yeah.
It's like every hour you run it is equal to more than like 30 miles of driving a car or something crazy like that. Like it's really, they really pollute. And they're noisy,
They're
so.
burning oil too. as
Yeah,
well,
yeah, so I think it's a great initiative. They're also really talking about the fact that if you put mulching blades on your mowers and mulch those leaves right back into your grass, it's healthier for the grass, and then you don't have to do all those hours and hours of blowing. It actually puts those nutrients back into the soil, so you don't need to use as many artificial fertilizers. So it's just a really great thing. And
Mhm.
one of the members of the committee spoke to one of our local contractors. I forget his name, Lou. He's got like 30 yards that he mows, and he said 28 of them have him mulch the leaves now. He's been doing it for about 2 years. The other 2 only don't do it because they're too wet, like their the leaves are just too wet. And so he's been mulching them for a couple years now, and he says it's great. The homeowners are happy, the grass looks great, and he doesn't have to spend hours of leaf blowing. So anyway, that's one of the initiatives that they're gonna be working on, and trying really just to go with educating versus, trying to come up with an ordinance, a noise ordinance or something that's punitive, so.
I would think it might reduce some of the landowners' costs to do their yard, mow their yard, because they're not then having to take all that and dump it somewhere,
Right?
you know?
Yeah, collect
Mm.
it and go dump it or blow it and collect it, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's less hours and much less noisy, right? So, there's been a lot of complaints about, the hours and hours of leaf blowing that happens. So, yeah, we're
You know,
hopeful.
You know,
It's a lot-
Michelle, my guy who cuts my grass, who I've been using for decades and who's local, he's been doing this on my yard for years. So I think there are lots, I think the local guys are probably aware of it. It may be that, there are clients who don't want it. So I'm not so sure it's the contractors that need to be educated. It may be the customers who need to be
I
educated.
agree with that.
Well, so that is, we have, thank you, Wayne, I appreciate that, and I want you to tell me who your local guy is, you can do that offline if you want, but. We've talked about putting together a brochure, a pamphlet, we're definitely gonna put another article in the newsletter. As always, education is challenging, but we're gonna continue to try to, just kind of turn this, believe it or not, so 2-cycle engines were outlawed in California, and there are actually 2 towns in Connecticut that have already done this.
Hmm.
So there's precedent for doing that. We were trying not to hurt the little guys, but really just try to encourage them to start turning over their equipment to the electric ones.
Also the tree guys that do, the chainsaws, there's electric chainsaws now that work very well.
That's what I've heard.
And,
I have one. It's
Yeah,
great.
so do I.
I love it.
I know, I got a small handsaw one as well.
Yeah,
And Wayne's right, they're great. They work, they work really well for quite a while,
yeah.
and they're not loud.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I bet you they're also less noisy. I mean, when I did the research on the leaf blowers, the decibel difference was outrageous, like it was crazy.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure. I mean, you don't even need ear protection when you're using the electric one. I mean, and it'll go a good 2 hours on a charge, which is more than enough for me because there's no way I can chainsaw for more than an hour anyway without my
I
arms
know,
falling
you're
off. So
vibrating.
what difference does it make? But
yeah.
and by the way, the guy who does my lawn, it's Lakeside Landscaping. It's Wayne DeRocher. He lives on Shearer Road. So
Okay, Lakeside, I gotta try to track them all down. That's
and
great.
they've been mulching my grass as they mow, and they mulch my leaves with the mower in the fall. You know, they only come and like blow once the whole fall.
Yeah,
At the
right,
very end, they come with the blower and they do the cleanup, but they every other week they just mulch.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's great. That's great. Thanks, Wayne. All right, well, so yeah, that's one of the new initiatives of the Sustainability Committee. Moving
Yeah.
on.
Also, one thing I might also add is years ago, when they started doing that to my lawn, it actually costs less. It
Yeah,
actually saved me money by them doing that. And
I
that's
believe
right.
it. I
so
believe it.
I'm telling you, you won't have to convince the contractors. You got to convince the high-end customers.
Okay. All right, well, that's, we will definitely try to focus on that.
I mean, Wayne's right, I'm gonna talk to my contractor about that, that does some of the lawn work, but also. The tree guys as well, just talk to them and have them do the same thing. Plus, they can steal your power, so it doesn't cost them, right? They can just plug right in.
Right, plug in,
and
and
charge up.
that was something we
you know?
talked about at the committee. As a town, if plugging in is an issue, can we set up a charging space?
Yep.
Or, or have battery, on switch out or something, we're not really sure, we aren't sure. We wanted to just talk with the contractors first to see what the barriers and limitations to going electric were, and if batteries is one of them, then maybe we can help try to figure that out. And maybe it's not, maybe homeowners, if they just they use a battery while they're charging for the next guy, and then
Yeah,
you just kind of
Keep
keep
it
moving
rolling.
forward, just keep rolling them over, so.
yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna keep talking about that and working on that, so that's good. Next thing I'm gonna share, I wanted to talk about the block party. Can you guys see this? So the block party was in June, first Friday in June. God, it seems like ages ago. And so much has happened since then, but so thank you to Kristen who came and helped man the tent. We were set up right there in the plaza. I did find the banner that had been made years ago for Explore Washington. And we had the email sign up out. I think I collected 12 to 15 new emails. I forget. It was almost a full page of new emails. We had some great conversations, and then the storm came, cut everything short, came about 7:15, I think it was. And holy cow, it was intense. The tents all started blowing away. I had paper blowing all over the place. After that, I went and bought plastic boxes for each of the commissions that I helped set up, because I had everything in these paper cardboard boxes stashed under the tablecloth, and it all got wet.
Huh.
So I now have Rubbermaid totes for each of the commissions to put the tablecloth and the brochure holders and everything in. It was wild. And it was an interesting block party. I think it was great until the rains came. Not as many people as the like 2 years ago when it was just packed. But I think it's because it drizzled a little during setup, and then this dark cloud just sort of started drifting towards us. So I haven't heard yet from like a final report from the WBA about vendors signed up or attendance or anything like that. I don't know, Fran, you're on this, here, I can stop the share so we can see everybody. Did you want to share anything about the block party from the WBA?
I mean, you know, attendance figures are hard to determine. We haven't had a meeting since June, so, we'll be meeting in August, but, I agree. I mean, I think the general consensus was attendance may not have been as high. And if Liz is on the phone, she may want to contribute. But those who were there had a good time, and certainly the rainstorm is something that was memorable, that will be talked about for years to come. But
It was. I hope everyone is signed up for the selectmen's email and saw the boards and commissions email that went out last week, because Victoria, the chair of the Arts Council, took a little video of Palobolas walking their tent. So you just see these legs under the tent, walking, using it as an umbrella as they were cleaning up. It was, you know, a little 10-second video. So you'll have to check that out. It's the first time we've ever embedded a video into the Selectmen's MailChimp. Mandy and I figured that out last week. We were very excited about that. So it was cute and very memorable. You're right, Fran. Yeah, it was interesting at the last Arts Council meeting. We talked a little bit about just, you know, I'm so glad that it was a rain or shine block party. And not every rain is a storm that blows you away. You know, we could have handled some drizzle. We all had tents. We were ready for tents, but yeah, that one was pretty extreme. I don't know that there's much you can do about that. So, yeah.
but it was a spectacular rainbow
Oh,
subsequent.
yes, it was. It was a beautiful rainbow after, which was really great. So it was memorable. And a fun way to sort of kick off the summer. Speaking of which, what's happening in Washington, summer postcards, we talked about those a couple meetings ago. Those have all been distributed, before I don't know, we've had a bunch of big weekends, but I went all around town a week or two ago to make sure that Marty's and the pantry and the Welcome Center, that everybody was stocked with their guidebooks and the postcards. So I think they're all out there in some form or fashion. So that's good for the busy season. I've been restocking the one on the town hall too. People have been taking guidebooks from there, and as well as the Welcome Center. So
Do you want me to take some over to the park?
I'm out.
You're out?
They're all out there somewhere.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
I mean, some people took some stacks to restock, which is great. I think Judy Black still had a little bit, you know, some stock, but people just come through the farmer's market and everything. So it's a great way to distribute that. Yeah, I think I don't have a box in my office anymore. So they're all out there somewhere. Yeah. All right. All right, something new coming up that I wanted to talk about, and I am gonna share my screen for a second again. So hopefully you all are familiar with the organization CT Main Street. They are a wonderful organization that offers a lot of great seminar. I've gone to several of their workshops in person, and I've done some of their webinars online, all about revitalizing your downtowns and your main streets. And the one thing that has been sort of kind of a bummer is that I forget exactly what the dues are, but we are not a member of CT Main Street because the membership just it seemed kind of pricey for a town as small as us. So whenever I do a workshop, I just have to pay a little bit more as a non-member. And Rista Malanka, who's the new economic community development person for the Northwest Hills COG, recognized that all of our little towns weren't members. So she negotiated with CT Main Street and used some grant money to create this program, and they're calling it Promise, and I did the webinar to figure out what that is called. Partnership to Revitalize Our Main Streets with Integrated Solutions and Efforts. That's the acronym. I'll never remember.
Yeah.
I had to write it down. So that's what that is. And what they've done is they've scheduled downtown walking tours, which with each of the member towns in the Northwest Hills COG. And they're gonna bring their people on site. The people who are coming are their field services people. And they're gonna be evaluating the downtown and then write a report for us, which is what they do for each of their member towns. And then Rista is working to, the goal is to come up with some, goals for your map. And then look for money. The EDA has implementation grants, which I think the EDA is the Economic Development Association. I think that's a state, it might be federal. It's the funding that supports the COG comes through the EDA. So she says there's some money out there depending on what is needed, but it should be a good learning experience. And they are gonna be coming, I think it's the end of this month. It's on the calendar. Jim and I will be there, and we're trying to kind of figure it out. Apparently there was a questionnaire that I'm not sure if we've filled out yet that we need to do before. But I wanted to share this Main Street approach with you just really quickly. The circles, what they have here are the 6 qualities that make a vibrant community around the outside. So as you go around the circle, we've got investment in a diverse economy, conveniently connected and easy to navigate, unique sense of place, welcoming and inclusive, dedicated Main Street management, committed to a sustainable future. So these are the 6 qualities that they feel make a successful downtown Main Street. And then the inner circle are the 4 points of management strategy. And they said that these 4 come from studies and consultation with different organizations all around the country. So it's sort of tried and true. And these 4 points of management strategy are promotion, organization, economic vitality, and design. And by design, they mean streetscape. So, it's interesting. I think it'll be a great learning experience. I think we as an EDC do some of this really well. For example, promotion. I think we've done a fantastic job of promoting our town. A lot of the larger towns and cities have downtown managers. They actually have like a Main Street corporation that helps like fill their empty buildings and really has their eyes on the downtown. We're small. We don't need anything like that. That's sort of the role of the EDC, but it'll be interesting to see kind of what advice they have for us. Part of the whole design streetscape, we've already done a good bit of work with the engineers and the community conversations we had, looking to get sidewalks and accessibility to the whole Titus block across from, kitty corner from the plaza. And the connectivity grant is still out there. They have not awarded the second round of grants, so fingers crossed. We're still in the running as far as I know. So I will keep you posted on that, but I think this is pretty exciting opportunity to kind of learn about what other people are doing and their advice for what we could be doing. Are there any questions about that?
When are you going to meet with these folks, Michelle?
I have it on I feel like it's the last Wednesday of this month, but I was realizing that as the chair of planning, it would be probably a good idea for you to be there. They've said not to have more than 5 people. So Jim and I spoke briefly about who might be good representatives, and I think the chair of planning would probably be good. So,
Well, I'd like to be there if there's space, and
yeah.
I'm probably around, so let me know.
Okay, great. I will do that. Thank you, Wayne. And which made me realize I forgot to put it on my list. I did bring my flyer. I forgot that I forgot you all are always here online. I can find it and bring it up, but we are currently in the middle of a POCD listening and input tour. There were 2 conversations in June and there are 2 in July, one coming up tomorrow, and then the last one on Saturday. And this is the opportunity for the community to come speak with our planning commission about their thoughts on the plan of conservation and development and what they think it should be in there and kind of what their priorities are. The conversations were, the first 2, one was at St. Andrews in Marbledale, the second one was at the library. Third one's gonna be at New Preston Women's Club, and the last one will be here at Town Hall. So kind of spread around so that hopefully, and different, 2 in the evening, 2 on a Saturday morning. So we tried really hard to make sure they were accessible and convenient for everyone. So, look for the flyer. I just asked that it be put again in the selectmen's email if you want to participate. The last one will be this Saturday here at Town Hall at 10 o'clock. Hey Wayne, you guys all set for tomorrow, by the way, in New Preston?
I guess I thought I wasn't the one that was spearheading that, so I know I'm going to show up. I think
That was Carol made that connection. I don't even know. She said it was confirmed, so I put it on the flyer, but.
okay, well, I should reach out to Carol today just to make sure we're still okay, but because I have a site visit tomorrow right before it as well, so believe it or not, I have to walk a property at 4 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, so that's not going to be very pleasant. So I'm gonna have to come home and probably take a shower because but you know, ironically, the most community feedback we've had actually happened at Community Day, because we had a little table stuck over, you know, over by the art association, you know, was far away from everyone as possible, thinking that nobody would come up and talk to us, and everybody came up and talked to us. So that is by far the most community feedback we've had of any of these events. So
That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, not glad that people aren't coming in droves to the other conversations, but I'm glad that was a good opportunity to reach out and.
well, I don't know. Dimmy thought maybe if we offered free beer, more people would show up. But
Yeah.
It does always help, I must say. One last thing I wanted to, I forgot to put on my list, but it came up at my last sustainability meeting. A while back, I was working with Denise Arturi. And so I've been asked by the farmers, because we held a farmers forum, and then by Steep Rock as a land trust, to work with them on adjusting the signage regulation for land trusts and farms out in the R1 districts, because they're not in a commercial district. So I forget, they're allowed a sign of like 2 square feet or something. It's very small. It's like the kind that you would put on your house that says like, you know, the Red House or, you know, whatever it is. So, so Denise and I started some language. We looked at what other towns do, and then I just got busy on other things and forgot about it. And Brian from Steep Rock asked that we resurrect that, because they have a real challenge. People can't find them, and they don't even know they're there once they get there, because they don't have signs in their parking lot. So that's something I'm gonna try to work on this month, now that the zoning commission has completed the multifamily, because that was that was a long slog. So I'll keep you posted on that, but I think it would be really helpful. And that's one thing we've talked about here at the EDC, is supporting our farms and making sure that people can find their farm stands and help them. We don't have very many left, so we want to make sure we're doing everything we can to support and promote them. So I'll be working on that. Okay. Any questions on any of that stuff, comments? No? All right, well, I only have one thing under new business, and it's something that came to my attention. It comes up pretty much every year, it seems. But I wanted to ask all of your help. Apparently there's been conversation about parking on Saturday mornings in the depot again. And I was here Saturday morning, the June 29th for the home dedication. And yeah, the depot was full. And we did get our parking signs up for the municipal lot here behind Town Hall, and then the one over back on Titus, the town land back there. So what I'm hoping you all could do for me and help me with is, if you're around on a Saturday, I want to know how full those lots are. Take a picture, tell me what time it was. Because there was conversation amongst some shops, I guess, or, you know, of trying to limit the parking to you know, with a time limit in the plaza, which I don't think is very feasible. I don't think we're gonna be able to enforce that. So I just wanna first, before we try to solve a problem we don't have, I wanna see if those lots really are full on Saturday mornings. You know, if it's still a signage issue, then, or an education issue. Or if our stores are not sending their employees to the farther lots, then that's something we can solve without too much trouble. So, does anyone have anything to share? Been in town? Yeah, Kristen?
Michelle, my husband and I go to the farmer's market every weekend, and we usually hit it somewhere between 10:30 and 11. We park over, not in the pantry, but at that parking lot behind. And we have never had an issue parking there. So I don't know if it's people just don't know there's more parking back there, and then back behind, whatever you call that, Titus parking area. I don't know if they just don't. Where's the sign that points to that? Is that?
Well, so there are actually two signs, the big blue, it's blue with a white P and an arrow. On either side of the street sign for Titus on 47, so like right at the bottom of the bridge. So that it
Okay.
says to either turn right or turn left, depending on which direction you're going. And then as you drive straight right past Titus Garage, there's another P sign with the arrow pointing forward to let you know that it's back there. So it seems kind of clear to me. I mean, we did talk about, and I feel, I'm sorry, I didn't get to it. I was out for a week with COVID in June. I was trying to get a lot of end of year stuff done. I did intend to make some yard signs, temporary parking with arrows in multiple directions, just for use of it for events that we could just use when we have like the block party, or we could put them out on Saturdays and take them in if needed, right? So I intend to still get a few temporary, just, you know, yard, stick in the ground signs for parking for whatever events we have.
How about no parking sign for right in front of Judy Black, because that's still an issue. People are parking there. Not the farmers dropping off their stuff, but people going to the market are still parking there, and that's kind of a hazard.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to Laura Naminsky about that. She was gonna order some new cones or no parking signs to put there for once the farmers leave. And just hadn't ordered them yet. But interestingly enough, when we were doing the depot study and looking at different traffic calming methods, parking along there was actually one of them.
Because it slows people down.
Slows people down. So I know it does make making a left turn off of River a little more challenging. You have to go slow and inch your way out to see beyond the cars, but in my mind, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about that. You know, Jim, I don't know if you want to weigh in. I figured I would kind of stay out of that until we've heard it's an issue.
Yeah, I'm not certain of the exact feedback you had from merchants, Michelle, but a couple of things. Last year, and I haven't heard from anyone at Judy Black. Last year, we provided them signage and cones for just what Kristen was talking about. And that's a huge hazard, not only River Road, but traffic coming onto the plaza as well as supply. It creates a sightline issue with cars parked there. So she
Okay.
doesn't, Laura doesn't have to order anything. We can provide her everything she needs like we did last year.
So the ones that were provided last year, it was a metal sign that was screwed into a plastic cone and they all fell apart. The signs were like hanging upside down, you know, one of the screws fell out. And she let Kevin know, I let Kevin know. I think he said he was gonna come pick those up, but she was trying to look for something that wasn't so heavy. Those were so heavy that it was really hard to get them all out there. And so we kind of looked at some different options, like the little fold up ones that say no parking. Or just where it's the cone, but it's spray painted onto the cone, no parking, instead of the metal screwed onto the plastic. So, she did let Kevin know that they had fallen apart, and I'm pretty sure, I think he came and picked up the ones that were broken, but I could follow up on that.
Yeah, and
So-
I think simple cones would suffice. If they don't have to be labeled no parking. If you just put a barrier there that they can't park, that would do it. And I know we've got plenty of those.
Okay.
And we
So
can
maybe-
give them the lightweight, small cones that they can use. I know they want to allow the farmers an opportunity to unload and then put those things out. But yeah, if Laura just wants to give me a call, I'll set it up.
Okay, so that's great. And that's not gonna create a parking, what, the most 3 or 4 cars were parking there anyway, so that's good. So that's good feedback, Kristen, about you not having any trouble finding parking. I mean, you know, Lisa mentioned to Laura that the parking has become an issue, but I guess we'll just kind of keep an eye on it and
Yeah,
want-
I think it may be a convenience issue. I mean, I walk to the market every Saturday pretty much. And I go early because I don't want to walk home in the heat. So I'm usually there. I usually walk into the depot around 9:30 or so. So I catch the market basically when it's supposedly opening, although they kind of soft open a lot of the vendors. They, you know, if they're set up by 9:30, they're selling stuff, you know. And you know, I walk because I live on River Road. I walk through the plaza and I see the parking lot behind Town Hall,
Mhm.
and I have never seen it full. It is used. I mean, I see people going back there and parking, but I've never seen people like going in and out of there like you know, with the telltale sign that they can't find a spot back there. I think it's everyone wants to park close to where they're going, and that's really what the issue is.
That's kind of what I thought too. I don't feel like I've ever seen that. The only time I've ever seen that lot full is when there is a big event going on as well, either in Town Hall or Legion Hall or something, I guess.
Yeah.
There was
Community
a-
Day, it was full.
Yeah, well, great. Yeah, that's the idea, right? Community Day, and I know the municipal lot back on Titus was being used because people were walking through the pantry and all of the tables set up there between Marty's and Depot Job to get to the plaza. So, yeah, so that's what I was thinking. We'll just keep observing and maybe an additional sign over near the Art Association.
I can
mean-
tell you that the parking on River Road is always filled up by 10 o'clock. I think that's probably where a lot of the vendors and their help, whatever parks, like, but
We've got the
So-
market park. I think the employees for the market park back there too, or the post office. Is that right, Jim? Do you know?
yeah,
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. You know, and I know Fran, you've always been great about asking your employees to park in, like, behind town hall or down at Titus. But I kind of wonder if all of the other businesses in the depot are good about making sure that their employees are parking farther so that the close-in spots are available
Well,
for.
It's certainly something that people can use a reminder for.
Mhm.
I think it's mixed. I mean, some do, some don't. And, at times I find it challenging too.
Michelle, when you're coming down past town, if town hall's on your right and you're coming into town, you pass the plaza. Is there a parking sign past Judy Black that points left to Titus? Parking?
You know, it's not on the right-hand side of the road, it's on the left-hand side. It's the Titus Street sign that's close to the bridge. You know, where the directory sign is.
Yeah.
It's
I wonder if we
Titus.
put like a, whatever you call those triangle signs. You know, the stand. Yeah, I can't think of the word.
Sandwich board?
Yes, a sandwich board with additional parking to the left, but on the side where, you know, where you're about to cross the street at the crosswalk. If people see that, maybe that would direct more people back there. But again, I don't know how much parking's an issue or just people want to be close.
You know, I did, when I was talking to Laura about that, we did talk about having like a sandwich board that the market that they put out, that Laura Black is, or like Judy Black Park, whoever's working that day, puts out during the farmer's market, like a sandwich board that says additional parking. And they could put one in both direct, you know, one in the plaza, pointing towards the municipal lot back here, and then, yeah, one kind of by, just past Barbara Bouyer's, near Marty's, pointing to the left. So, yeah, so we could look at that. We could make,
I noticed that the liquor store now has a sign on the plaza pointing to, because people wouldn't know it's there. I can't
Well,
remember if that's a sandwich board or an actual
it's
sign.
like a stanchion, it's like a movable stanchion that's got a little sign on it and just says walkway through, so that people realize that they can park it, that they can walk through from one side to the other.
But it also said the liquor store. I mean, it specifically was for, yeah. Mhm.
Letting them know that the front door is over there, because I think
Mhm.
a lot of, what's really frustrating, and we've talked about this definitely in planning, people, the way the whole depot was set up was for people to drive their cars, and so they'll stop at the market and then they'll get in their car and drive over to the Hickory Stick or over to the supply. They don't walk. You know, whereas if you were in a city, it's only 2 blocks, you would never move your car. You would be,
Yeah.
right? You would be thrilled you found a spot that close
Mhm.
and you would walk to do your errands. And so it's kind of crazy that people feel the need to drive around to the other side to go to the liquor store. And you were just at the market and you can just cut through one parking spot. So it's just changing habit.
It's a colossal failure of the rebuilding of the depot after the flood. But you
Yeah.
have, but you can't, you know, you have to keep it in context. You know, it was the 1950s and it was the height of the American car culture. So it never occurred to anyone that driving your car from storefront to storefront would ever be a problem. That's, you know, it it was it's that classic, it seemed like a good idea at the time, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Could be just laziness.
It is, it's lazy, you know, well, it's habit, it's just, and it's kind of the way it's created, we don't have great sidewalks over on Titus, so it's not really conducive to walking, so we'll
Yeah.
just, I think we'll slowly change those habits, people will realize if you got a spot, great, good, stop driving around and walk from place to place,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Also, you know, there is one thing, I mean, people coming down from the hill. I mean, it's sort of like they might be a little worried about the traffic. I'll say traffic, it's not much traffic. but you know what I'm saying? It might be like, uh-oh, you know, now I gotta cross the street.
Oh, right. Pedestrian
So-
safety is definitely a
Yeah.
concern.
Yeah,
And we have talked about that. That's part of the whole study that we did and we're hoping to talk to DOT about some traffic calming.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
depot, 'cause, yeah, those, it's a hazard.
it definitely is, yeah.
Yeah. So traffic calming and pedestrian safety are definitely a concern. Hmm, I think, oh, it is Liz there. We're hearing whatever's going on over there, wherever you are, Liz. All right, well, I think that's good. Those are some good ideas. I'll talk with Laura again at Judy Black. We'll get, the cones for the parking. Maybe I'll get a sandwich board, like a lightweight one that says additional parking that we can use for multiple events in the farmer's market. And, yeah, if you ever see the lots full, let me know. But I think we actually technically have enough parking. It's just not as close as everybody wants. So. All right, we can move on unless there are any other additional comments on that. All right, Jim, while you're still on, is there anything you'd like to share from the selectmen? Jim may or may not be.
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting. I don't know if I shared with the group, we're definitely in the preliminary stages. I was approached a couple of months ago by leadership of the Art Association about a potential land swap, the Titus property for the Art Association property. So we're doing our due diligence right now and inspections and values and just kind of fleshing it out. But I just wanted to let the EDC know that that's being looked at.
All right, so that's out in the open now, huh?
Yeah, I was informed that the entire board knew, so they said, well, there it goes. Which is fine. I mean, it's all good.
Yeah, yeah, keep us abreast of that. I'm curious to see how that.
Yeah, and it was anything going forward it was made conditional that it would have to have a housing component with it. So that's what they're working on with their designers. And again, we're just doing due diligence and I'll keep everybody up to date.
It is interesting because we have been using that parking back there. We were just talking about that, so I wonder how that will impact. I don't know how many cars are parked back there. I know some of the shops have employees back there, so it'd be interesting to see, like, on a busy day, how many cars actually do park back there, and if we lose access to that, what that will do to parking in the depot. However, it might be just an even swap, because if people going to the Art Association were probably parking in this municipal lot, and then now they would be parking back there, so it might not change things, so that'll be interesting.
Well,
Thank-
plus
thank-
the, if someone other than the town owned the Titus property, implementing housing would actually be a lot easier.
So what makes you say that, Wayne?
Because it's going to be really difficult. It's going selling the town as a whole on housing of any type on town property is going to be a tough sell, in my opinion, having been chair of planning for 8+ years and chair of housing for 6 years before that. I've always thought that if we wanted to see housing on the Titus property, that someone other than the town would need to own it. And I still believe that to this day. So this is actually good news.
Interesting. All right. Cool. Well, we'll see how that plays out. And see. Yeah, if after feasibility and engineering or whatever, that they can move forward, so.
Oh, by the way, speaking of that, back in my day as chair of housing, we had perks and deeps done on that property, Jim. I don't know where they are, but Paul Szymanski did them years ago, and not surprising to you, having grown up over there, the soils perk really well. In fact, too well.
Thanks, Wayne. Yeah, I mean, I grew up over there. It was typically a love canal of mixture of salt and diesel and oil and yeah,
Great.
but
I feel like we found those when we were doing the investigation of Titus for the community center. I feel like we knew that those existed and maybe they were found, but I could be misremembering that, or maybe we dug some of our own, but.
Yeah,
had-
I can give you the Reader's Digest version. It's like that soil perks so well that you would have to engineer a system to slow the water down. It's like, I mean, some of the holes, they dug the holes and they couldn't keep them filled to measure how fast they drained because they could never fill them up.
They drain too fast. Wow, okay, so that's interesting. Well, that also, you're gonna put housing there.
Sounds
Yeah.
like quicksand.
Yeah, it does, it does. Drains fast. All right, well, thank you. Anything else, Jim, you want to share with us?
no, that was it, Michelle. Thank you.
Great, thanks. And Fran, anything else from the WBA that you wanted to share?
As I said, we did not have a meeting. We haven't had a meeting, so forthcoming, yes. But as plans are made for the fall.
Okay.
And
That's-
Liz is certainly busily at work. I mean, the Harvest Festival is planning for that is certainly well underway.
Yeah, I know, it's hard to believe, but it's just around the corner. That does remind me that we, at the communications committee meeting of the WBA a while back, we talked about updating the guidebook, because we will probably distribute the last of what we have on hand by the end of the summer or this fall, we'll be running out. So we've started, working on an update. I spoke with Julia and, we already contracted for the update part. It might take a while before we have enough, money with the WBA and the other people who print them, to actually do the print run. But that was something that was started with last year's budget money, the actual update. We've had some businesses go out, and new ones come in, so, we aren't gonna do a redesign like we did on the last one. Where the maps and the pages and the layout is gonna all stay the same, we just are gonna update a couple of the, businesses that have changed. So it's a smaller update for this version.
Michelle,
that-
do you know costs in relationship to that at this point?
I don't know printing costs. She asked me how many copies and then, we weren't really ready to print. So what I need to do is talk to all the other businesses that usually order them, like the Mayflower and the schools and the realtors, and see if they are, if they've run out as well, and if they would be ready for a reprint. If not, it would be a smaller run, which unfortunately means the cost per book is higher. So that we'll have to figure that'll probably be a fall project to see. How many have I've asked a couple of the realtors and they're like, let me look in the basement, and then I never hear from them, so they don't know how many they have on hand, so I'll follow up with them all again. After the summer, probably, everyone's kind of in vacation mode. But hopefully we'll have a reprint in time for the following summer. I can't think, I mean, so Harvest Fest, October, Columbus Day weekend, that's kind of the next big thing. And, except for a few of these other projects, I don't have a lot of other stuff on the horizon. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Any
Sorry?
business going into Inari?
So I heard off the record that there was a noodle place going in, which sounded very exciting to me, but I don't know where in the negotiation process that lease was, or if they were waiting, if they had to go through the health department or what. So that was a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it was a realtor who told me that, but I don't know that that's signed and done. And I spoke with Tammy about the Wyant building a month or two ago. She thought she had something in the works for over there in Fleming Space, but maybe that fell through because I haven't seen any movement there. I've noticed that the office space under ASAP is vacant. I was gonna call to see how large that was, and I don't know what they're renting that for. That was Link Cornell's old office. I don't remember, was it Kramer and Anderson in there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I guess they've moved out. I think that's the only other vacancy that I'm aware of here in the depot.
What's the status on the EMS building?
That is a good question. Jim, do you have, I
Sure,
know,
so
yeah, go ahead.
we just completed, and we'll award the bid for the construction management firm on Thursday, and they will get out to bid within the next week or two for subcontractors, and we're hoping to break ground in early September.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it was a bit of a process. We interviewed 6 different construction firms to be project managers, and found one that everybody on the committee was very pleased with. On the committee is myself, Jay, Hubble Bank, Mark Showalter, Elliot Johnson, Daryl Wright, Peter Bowman, and Heidi Johnson. So it's a pretty good mix of people, I think.
Yeah, you got some great skill on that committee in representing a lot of different.
Yeah, yeah.
sectors.
Very fortunate.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So that, yeah, that's good. We'll see some progress hopefully there.
Yep.
All right. Well, everybody, I don't think we have any other business, so enjoy the rest of the summer. Try to stay cool. We have a meeting scheduled for August, and barring, I guess I'll put out the call. We'll see if, make sure not too many people are on vacation. A lot of committees and commissions cancel for August. So we'll play that by ear for now. But enjoy the rest of this summer, and let me know if you see any parking issues in the depot. Take a picture, date it and send it. All right?
All right,
you all.
thanks.
Thank you all for being here. This is the best attendance we've had in ages. Appreciate it. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn, we're adjourned. Here we go. I see them all. All right. 4:04.
Second.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good day. All right.
All right.